La 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 la. Guess what I don't see. All right. If you can hear me, give me not a thumbs up. I need something. Well, no, you give me a thumbs up, I guess. Jeffrey, I see that you're on right there. Got a brand new tornado watch now, just issued. So I thought I'd throw that up on the screen right now. This is a brand new tornado watch issued for central sections of Mississippi. Now this goes from Greenwood, Mississippi, all the way down to the south. It's number 38 there for Jackson. Sorry, my mic is way hot over here on the right hand side. I apologize for that too. From Jackson South, we're down to Macomb and back over to Alexandria. We have a tornado watch that is in effect now. This is going to be for the southeast as the severe weather is unfolding now pretty quickly, coming in from the south side to the rest of the area. And we're going to be watching that as we go through the remainder of the day today because the atmosphere is thick. And the atmosphere is kind of ready for what's about to happen here as we go through and into the next several hours. And so thank you very much. Jody's with us here this afternoon. Thank you, Jody, for being with us. You might tell me where you're writing from. Love to know where you're writing from because we're going to see off and on as we go through the remainder of this afternoon. Many of you will be affected, especially if you're east of the Mississippi River. A lot of you are going to end up having some of this severe weather move on through here. And if you're looking at radar at the moment, now the radar doesn't tell the entire story here at the moment. The radar is just now becoming more and more active down to the south and moving northward. And as we do so through the remainder of the afternoon, that's pretty much what we'll be looking at is the likelihood, the possibility of having more and more showers and thunderstorms that turn over to and start to really rotate. Got so much to show you. I'm not sure where I should start just yet, but we got a lot of time to be doing so we'll be watching out for that very closely too. Right now, I'm meteorologist David Neal along with Brett Adair. Brett's out and about. We've been watching his stream over the last couple of hours. You can see him online here. He is... give it 3 seconds. 2, 1. There we go. Brett and Lawler. Give me a dollar. Lawler is out for today. They are riding around down to Mississippi. I'm not exactly sure where they are. They were headed toward Columbus, Mississippi just a few moments ago, but that's meteorologist Brett Adair, who is out and about within the showers and thunderstorms as they develop today. So we'll be watching out for them very closely, making sure that we know exactly where they are as well, and keeping you up to date on where this weather is moving as we go through the next few minutes here. Let me write one little thing. Let's see, B. Mm-hmm. Give me 1 sec here. Still trying to get a couple of things straightened out. All right. Anyway, that's Brett. That's Brett in his vehicle there as he is moving along throughout the area there. Headed for Columbus, Mississippi, he is. I can't tell it there, but that is the direction that he is moving in, and we're watching him very, very closely as we go through the remainder of the afternoon because there's going to be some big thunderstorms off in the distance that we'll be looking at when it comes to where Brett is headed. I hope if you got some questions, you'll ask those as well because we got a little bit of time here in between what's going to happen and exactly where we are with everything. We got is it Shelly? I believe Shelly is with us already. 71 Shelly says where she is. and looking for some more of that precipitation as it moves on in to cause big thunderstorms through the day today. We'll be looking at that. Some of these are going to be tornadoes. Some of these are going to be straight line wind. But what we're looking at now is the likelihood, the possibility of seeing tornadoes coming in and out of the area as they do so, because some of these will be quite large. They're going to be producing supercells. We'll see the supercellular part of this moving on through as we go through the remainder of the day today into the afternoon tomorrow as well. Something that we'll be looking at is just how many of these storms are going to be rotating. And I want to show you, we'll go so much to show you, and we'll talk about the different ways to do this here. But one of those is going to be let's just do this. Let's go to the radar right now. Go to the radar and take a look at where we are with some of the current conditions and beyond. But first of all, I want to show you what the model says. And this is the HRRR model, the HRR model that we look at. We talk about this quite often because it does, in fact, give us an idea of what's going on with the atmosphere aloft, especially. And we're looking at the fact that what's happening here is that a lot of this stuff is just now beginning to train in and move along. The expectations are that as we move up into this area here, a little bit further off to the north, that now we're going to be seeing shear. We're going to have winds like this, southerly winds down at the surface, but winds aloft will be coming in from this direction, which is going to create shear right through here and cause development of storms to be rotating storms. So right now they've got, kind of the, okay. Right now they got kind of a, let me send. I'm having trouble getting Brett here. Hold a sec. Trouble get Brett. Hold a sec. Make sure he knows where we're at. We'll work on that. We'll get Brett up in just a second here. Let's go right here to the radar really quick, though, and just take a little update of what's going on. This is the HRRR. Let's just go back and actually look at the radar, though, and show you some of the development that's just now taking place. And this is happening over the last few minutes. Some of the bigger thunderstorms that have popped up here coming out of Louisiana, coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, working their way northeastward. And as you can see, there's a linear part of this, too, that we're looking at. But just the west of 55 is what we're worried about here, coming into Brookhaven on the southwestern side, and the Humbochita National Forest there, as well as just south of Jackson, Mississippi, along I-55. Kind of looking at that, wondering what's happening there. But over to Hattiesburg, we got some more strong thunderstorms that we're watching coming in there, too. Now, this is all developing. These are thunderstorms that are developing. They're just now getting their act together and are going to be producing more in the way of precipitation as we move along. But we're looking at the fact that a lot of this stuff, as it moves on to the east, is going to be developing over the state. Eastern Texas and Mississippi, then into Alabama as we move along. So kind of looking at that here into the short term. But we'll go to the radar and go to the modeling actually here. We're going to look at the HRRR model because it's the one that's up to date. This thing has been pretty snappy with us through the day today. Right now, we are looking at, hold on, B, I'll get to you just right here in a second. Let me copy this over. Give me 1 second here, folks. Hey, B, you got me?
Check, check, check. You got me?
1 sec. to do. Forgot I have to give you. How about you now, B?
Check, check, check. Got me?
So you guys can hear Brett. I can't.
Check, 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 check.
Tell you what, Brett, they can hear you, so just don't ask me a question, and we'll be all right at the moment. Got you up here. Just talk about what's going on at the moment. I know you're traveling, and just tell everybody where you're headed here.
Yeah, Dave, I am headed down 45 South. We're south of Tupelo right now. Moving down 45 in the general direction of Columbus Meridian. Thinking right now we're going to kind of go to Columbus and hold up for just a little bit, see what the environment shows. We now have a tornado watch for, I want to say it's about 45, 47 Mississippi counties in central southern. Starting to see those storms consolidate and go up down there south of Jackson and southwest of Jackson. And those are the ones that we're going to watch. Anyway, little sleep last night. Continue to develop from the southwest to the northeast as we go through time this morning and to the afternoon. So that's going to be one of those situations that we have to monitor very, very closely regarding the low level shear. I think that's one of the things that we're lacking. The potential for some mixing this afternoon could hamper our tornado potential. But again, we do have storms forming. We have the potential for tornadoes this afternoon as these continue to move off toward the north. Classic supercell type of storm mode could be possible due to the elevated mix layer that we have in place. So something interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw the I'm gonna throw the radar up here, Brett. All right, B, we'll check back in with you. Thanks. We'll talk to you again here in just a little bit. I apologize for the audio trouble there. But Brett Derry's out and about. He's going to be telling us more about what's happening during the day today. We're going to follow him through the afternoon, too, to see what's going on with all these changes that are occurring. They're going to really start to homogenize here as we go through the next several hours. In fact, that's what we'll be looking at as everything begins to change over here. We'll start to see more and more in the way of precipitation becoming thicker and thicker. These thunderstorms, if they develop the way, and let's just do this. Let's just go ahead and take a look at what the modeling has for us here at the moment. And it is suggesting that there's going to be quite a bit in the way of precipitation, that it's going to be worrisome, because we still have the fact that some of these thunderstorms are going to be creating off and on chances for some of these to rotate, some of these storms to rotate. Not really chances. I mean, they're going to rotate. That's going to be the case as we go through the next several hours. You just have to pay attention to all of that as we move on through, because it's going to be a situation where that's going to be detrimental to portions of the Deep South. And so we got to follow that very, very closely as we move along through time. Some of these thunderstorms are going to be producing some hail as well, especially as you get in the southern part of the state. I think we got some hail makers here that should pop up. They're going to pop up. You can see over my shoulder, too, the brightness now in some of the satellite imagery. By the way, this is southern sections of Mississippi right now around Hattiesburg, where we're seeing some brighter banding showing up. That's going to be indicative of having those thunderstorms that'll pop, and indeed will likely be producing some of the heavier thunderstorms at the moment that are going to be the ones that are cold cloud tops. Those are the ones that are indicative of being way up there into the atmosphere. You can see them from a long distance. And so in that case, this is going to be a situation where a lot of these thunderstorms have the potential to be producing tornadoes as we go on through the day. Donald joins us now. Miss Alma Trummel. Do you know what time it's going to be in southwestern Tennessee? I'm in between Memphis and Nashville. It's already there into Memphis at the moment. I mean, we're looking at the radar here at the moment. Already some of those thunderstorms coming into Memphis. I'll show you right now what it looks like on radar out of the local radar office there in Memphis, Tennessee, which looks like actually that data is a little bit old here showing up on the radar, but I can show you the Little Rock office has a good beat on this. This is now coming into western sections of Memphis, east, actually West Memphis in Arkansas, but coming across the river now. On the other side here, up to Dyersburg and beyond, we have some of those thunderstorms there that we're looking at. And then down to the south is where it gets a little bit worrisome, because here's where we're already seeing a little bit of banding, a little bit of curvature starting to take place in some of these thunderstorms. And now I'm really concerned, because I did not know that Memphis radar was going to be out today. But that's not good at all, because now we're really in between two radar sites here, and that's going to be an area there where we're not going to see a whole lot of precipitation that we should be seeing. DeWitt down to the south, still some more showers and thunderstorms there. Jackson radar has some thunderstorms. This is an area that we're going to be watching down to the south here. This is from Brookhaven back over to Hazelhurst, and this is the reflectivity. Sorry, let me put the radar back in here for you. This is the reflectivity that we're looking at here. And we'll once again show you that a lot of this activity is going to be in the form of some larger thunderstorms that will be producing this off and on through the day today. Some of the heaviest thunderstorms that we've been talking about through the day today are going to be picked up and moved on eastward out of this. And again, we're looking at high-res reflectivity here. Let's see. Oh, I know what that is. Yeah, out of the Jackson office there, that's what we're looking at the moment. All this is moving on east. We're doing so, I don't know, 30 miles per hour. There's some big thunderstorms here. Those are the ones that are producing the heavy amounts of precipitation. Also, the lightning that we've got going on near Williams and Quentin, that's still moving on northeastward out of West Lincoln and Shucktown. That's still in the process there. Hazelhurst down to the south there, too, and some of these others that we're looking at off to the north. Then down in the southwestern side of Mississippi along 61, it looks like US 61, 24 County coming into Macomb, Mississippi. Some pretty hefty thunderstorms there, too. Just to the west of Baton Rouge, got some thunderstorms there. Those will start showing up. Anywhere to the east is going to get more and more wild going into the afternoon. Some of these heavier amounts of rainfall, thunderstorms, all that's really going to pick up as we move along. Right now, you're looking out of Slidell, Louisiana, at some of those showers there that are developing, still moving on to the east. And then as you go northward, a little bit of spin, a little bit of rotation starting to show up. What is a little bit at the moment is going to be a lot. Over the next several hours, we'll have more and more coming up as we move along through. There's already some good rotation right there near Bogue-Chitto. That's a Bogue-Chitto. This is just to the south of 84, US 84. And certainly there's some rotation right there. When did it start? kind of been with it the whole time. And I know they're all over that now out of the Jackson office because that is a rotating thunderstorm there at the moment. Make sure I've got all of my parameters on here. Severe weather settings, on, tornado, severe thunder, special marine, flash flooding. Don't have my tornado watches on yet, but let's turn them on so you'll know where they are for the moment. Tornado watches all of Mississippi there, and they go back around. This is the tornado watch area. Just go through the afternoon. It's actually going to go up until 5 o'clock tonight, Central Standard Time. But this is all underneath the tornado watch in yellow that you see. Tornado watch to the north. Tornado watch up into Memphis, western sections of Tennessee, just north of I-40, or western Kentucky now up along 69, I-69 that goes over to Clarksville into the Madisonville area. Still watching out for that. You know what's going to happen as we go through the remainder of this afternoon. We're going to see more thunderstorms developing, and so we'll have tornado watches that cover this entire area here later on this afternoon. Later on this evening, these will be tornado watch regions, so we'll be looking out for that as we move along too. We got Ruth Gardner here with us. Angelina Knox is with us as well. Angelina, thank you so much for joining us here. Spitfire Red here today, as well as Mary Paget, the Whizzle Man. Good to see you right on Josephine. Ruth Gardner is with us. Manpad is with us this afternoon. Thank you, Manpad. I really appreciate you being with us. Always does a great job helping us with moderation here. Donna McCarty is here with us. Sharon Kaiser is here as well. She's watching in Fort Payne, Alabama, along with Penny. Ruth Gardner is with us today. Praying for America is here with us. We're all praying today, kind of watching what's happening here. Lizzie's with us. Patricia is with us. Killer's Opinion is with us here at the moment as well. Whizzleman against Sylvia is here today. And we got Mizriz 003. Hunter's with us here. This is not a QCLS. This is a QLCS sort of a deal. I can't read what you're writing there. Donna McCarthy. A lot of you are with us today, and just let me know if you've got a question that you'd like to ask. Specifically, it's very hard to give like super specifics about what time it's coming to you. Just know that the time is now to start preparing for it, because things are going to be changing pretty rapidly as we go into the next few hours here in particular and beyond. So we're going to have to be watching out for that going through the remainder of this afternoon into this evening even. Let's just talk about that. We'll look at the model here and take a look. Let's just try another model. Let's just go to the, I want to go to the Weather Bell model here and take a look at what's happening. And here you go. Let's talk a little bit about the HRR. This is the HRR model, and we'll just use the Deep South for this and take a look at what's happening. And this is the model. This is telling us what's going on, and we'll move along with time here to show you. As far as the temperatures go, that's not the big deal. Although you can see when the cold front goes on through, we're moving up to noon 1. That's 3 o'clock this afternoon. Moving through Birmingham, moving through the rest of the area about then too, and then headed southward. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about precipitation and look at our reflectivity here. And I can show you what we're looking at basically is the linear part of this coming eastward, but watch what happens as we go through time. Now we're looking up into the noon time. This is the noon hour central time, and that's when things get a little bit weird. Look into southern and central Mississippi. Now you're talking about single cell, supercell thunderstorms and possible tornadoes that would be popping up at about that time. And that's when the supercells really get to be problematic when you start talking about those. As we move through time to the 1 o'clock hour, you see single cells that are out there. These are all worrisome because they truly look like they already have tornado features with them. See the little curvature that shows up, that little curvature, that jelly bean look? Not jelly bean, but kidney bean. Jelly beans are different. Jelly beans are totally different than kidney beans. This has got that little curvature to it, which tells us that with height, as we're going up into the atmosphere, we likely have more spin that is occurring there. So that goes all the way up. That is right there at, we're looking at, what, 20Z? So the time on that is 20Z. Let me do this right here. 21. So that's 3 p.m. 3 p.m. this afternoon, international time. Go up to 4 o'clock. Now we got some big bangers coming to western Alabama at about that time. Southern Mississippi as well. They're moving on to the east. We'll still have all that cluster coming on through. Any one of the clusters could be producing tornadoes that are out and ahead of our cool front headed southeastward. So that means a lot of stuff. It means that this is going to be a very serious situation through the day today into tonight as well. It's not going away really, really fast, folks. Be extra cautious about what you're doing outside today. If you know anybody who lives in this area, give them a buzz. Make sure that you do a lot of contact. Check on your neighbors, making sure that everybody is aware of what is happening and what's going to be changing as we go through the rest of the day today. Because you and I know we've done this enough together, don't we? That information is what it's all about. And some of you I've known for 30 or 40 years from my career. Some of you I see on here. Samuel Camp is with us now. Ruth Gardner is with us as well. Ruth is turning in from Brookhaven, Mississippi. And Ruth, it's always nice to talk to you. Deborah Pear is here with us. Mary Paget is here today, as well as Karen Lauderdale. Kevin Henderson is with us. Kevin, yo, what's going on there, bro? Appreciate seeing you there for today. So lots of stuff that is going on here. We've got Brett here. We've got his vehicle. We've been chasing that, following. See, we're chasing Brett chasing. So we've been following Brett through the day today, and that's something that we will definitely continue to do. We'll be watching out for him as we go through the rest of this afternoon into this evening. He's going to be out and about, and we'll certainly have plenty of time to be watching out for him. All right, let me do something here. What is he in? So we're going to be... Can I do that? I wonder if this works. That might just work. Holy cow, that's going to work. Yeah. All right. Here's Brett's car. Full screen. Brett is with Heath. Give me $1 Lawler. They're out driving around today. I don't know exactly where he is. I know he's headed toward Columbus. I think he's probably there somewhere around I-22. Let me see if I can find him. I have a little way to find him here. I have a way to find him that only me and some women know about. Let's see. It's, yeah, dude's right there by Aberdeen. He's pretty close to Aberdeen. He's actually right there near my other buddy, Brad Arnold. They are both out and about. Let me see if I can get Brad on here too. You folks probably know Brad. Brad Arnold has been around for quite some time, and he is with us today. So we'll be watching out for Brad off and on. Let me see if I can get Brad's info up here. Yes, no, maybe so. Right there on 45 is where the both of them are. Just outside of Tranquil there into Mississippi is what we're looking at. It's the likelihood of where this is all going to be as we go through the remainder of this afternoon. We'll be looking out for that. But here is where Brett is at the moment. He is right there, and you see center screen. And so we're going to be following Brett. That's where all the action is at the moment. That's where Brett is. Not that that's going to be all the action, but Brett is there, just about to get into the tornado watch area down to the south. We have more stuff going on here too, and then we get back into the region here that is, I'm not sure why we don't have a warning on this, unless they're thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to have 1 billion today. Let's make sure that this thing is for reals before we start deciding we're going to have warnings. And let me see here. This is correlation coefficient. Yeah, there's something going on here because the CC, the beam has developed there pretty well, and I don't exactly see a drop here at this point. We're seeing more of a linear deal going on there with the likelihood of producing hail there that's throwing the CC off just a little bit. But the whole thing says that's a big old nasty storm right there. Let me turn off the watch area because it's no longer something we have to have, the tornado watch. You all know that there's weather, serious weather into the area that we're going to be following through the day today. How can I help you? Shana is with us. Shana Pettigrew. She started in the rain in Jackson, Mississippi a few moments ago. Shirley Green is with us. What about Louisville, Kentucky? Louisville's going to be in play. We'll look at that in just a few moments, but there's definitely going to be some stuff up there. And it's pretty much what we're watching. They're from Knoxville, Tennessee. We got Hunter Bowerman I got a good friend, Hunter, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is where I worked for many, many years. But up there in Knoxville, love it. Love me some Knoxville, Tennessee up there. Michelle is with us. Matt Cluck is with us from Chicago. And Caleb is with us today from Waynesboro, Tennessee. You guys in Tennessee, you got to be watching what's happening here as we go through the next little while there into Tennessee, because you're not out of it. In fact, some of the latest was suggesting there were going to be more rotation there into Tennessee as we go through the afternoon than maybe anywhere else. I know a lot of people were watching up into that area to sort of make sure, you know, what was going on, what was going to be happening up there too. Some of the storms that are headed on to the east here, I can show you. This is the Olive Branch area there. The City Hall in Olive Branch shows you the cloud deck, quite a bit of it. This is just outside of Memphis, Tennessee, where we have some of that activity coming toward the camera. So we got 72 over 72 there in Olive Branch. It's going to be an area of great concern as we go through the rest of the day today. That is just south of South Haven, and they're near the border. Other areas that we're kind of looking at here is, well, basically what we'll be watching through the day today. Phil Campbell, Alabama. You folks in Phil Campbell, you know about tornadoes. I was up there with the big one when it hit there many years back, the Hackleburg storm. And you know, I know you've been recovering from that ever since. That's a big bad thing happening up there in that part of North Alabama. We kind of went through that one together. Down to the south here, we have some more thunderstorms that we're looking at. These coming across southern sections of Mississippi, moving eastward out of Baton Rouge over to Hattiesburg as well. And all of these are going to be pretty big. And then as we go a little bit further off to the east, still looking at what's happening here from the south side of Alabama. We don't have any precipitation showing up here just yet, but there'll be more as we go into the next little while. Some of the bigger thunderstorms of the day will probably start to pop here as we go through the rest of the afternoon and beyond. But definitely we'll be looking at all those as we continue our move to the east. Now, south of I-55, Macomb, back over to Brookhaven into that Hazelhurst region, and then back into Baton Rouge and beyond over to Hattiesburg. We still have some of those thunderstorms there that we're looking at. These are brand new. Now, what's happening as far as velocity goes is that we have a couple of storms that are spinning here. This one has been spinning for a while. It's got a lot of lightning around us, and this could be the genesis of a tornado. But right now, they're going to call it. There's a little bit of a width right there. This is where your main area of downdraft is at the moment. But there's a lot of lightning here, too, and I know they're kind of looking at that. A lot of times, lightning will be the generation or the initialization of a tornado. So kind of looking at that at the moment and deciding what's going to happen with that is a big, big deal. We still have an enhanced risk for strong to severe thunderstorms. Did they just upgrade this? 1032. It's a little bit different. Hold on, I'll send it to you. I'll let you see it as well. No, I think I can do this. Maybe I can do it like this. Might be a little different. Here is the new area here, which says there's an enhanced risk that goes up to Nashville now and Louisville, and then southward does include Birmingham. Now it's east of Birmingham. The enhanced risk, yes, the enhanced risk does include Fort Payne, Alabama. You are in on the enhanced risk now in Fort Payne, Alabama, Jackson. So it's a little bit further to the east where the enhancement is, meaning that the conditions are going to become favorable for tornadoes to occur in and around all of this area here. Jackson, too, through the rest of this evening, surrounded by a slight risk that goes through the rest of the region. And so we're kind of looking out for that as we do so over the next couple of hours. That's going to be something that we'll be watching, making sure that we have all that information. We're going to pass that along to you. By the way, if you have information that you can pass along to us as well, we would certainly appreciate that if we could get that and get it on the air for other people who are out there to make them aware of some of the changes that might be occurring as we go through the remainder of the day today. So we just want to make sure that we keep everybody updated on that. And that's exactly what we are trying to do. Now, the other part of this is where, let's see. So that's where the risk is. Let me back out here. The hatched area. And this is where the possibility of tornadoes is going to be, where you see the dashed lines. This is the higher probability of tornadoes to occur as we go through the rest of this afternoon. That's still the Birmingham area, Huntsville, Nashville, up there in the middle Tennessee. You're included in that risk region. So that's very worrisome. The severe wind outlook is in the same sort of a place, goes up to Nashville. They kind of follow each other. Hail is most likely back down into Mississippi, Jackson to Birmingham. is still a possibility, but the hail most likely is going to be falling across that region there and further down to the south. So, kind of looking at that from that advancement. Right now, again, this is your watch. Your highlighted area across Alabama is an enhanced risk from Huntsville to Decatur, Birmingham to Tuscaloosa, or the hatched area is right here. This is what we're looking at here, where we still have the likelihood of producing a tornado at any one of these locations, and we would just want to make sure that you stay informed about what is happening here as we go through the short term and go into the rest of this evening, because things are truly about to change pretty rapidly here across all of this area going into the next several hours. Hold on for one sec. Yeah, so there it is. That's brand new. This is from SPC. And so the likelihood is definitely there for that to occur. And we just want to make sure that you are up to date on what's happening with that as well, because some of these thunderstorms as we go through the day today are just going to get larger and larger, and especially as you get further and further into the deepness of what we're talking about, which is you look at Brett's automobile here. We're looking at him driving down the road, where once again we got the thickness of the cloud. We got a large cloud deck here as he's coming through eastern sections of Mississippi and headed toward Columbus, Mississippi. The deck is lowering there. It's going to get a little bit juicier as we go through the rest of this afternoon. The atmosphere is going to continue to degrade coming in from that general direction too, so we've got to be watching out for all of that going into the next several hours. But right now we have a couple of rotating storms down to the south and southern Mississippi that are very, very concerning to us. We're going to be watching so closely as we move along, because some of these big thunderstorms, in fact, are the ones that are going to be producing the large hail that we might be talking about as well. Central sections of Mississippi, you're looking into Brookhaven here down at the bottom. That's Brookhaven, Mississippi, all the way down to it, including Liberty and beyond, over to Brookhaven, back over to Bogue Chitto. Bogue Chitto is down to the south. That's Bogue Chitto, and this is where that is up near Brookhaven. Somebody was telling me that that's where you were watching us from, was Brookhaven, so we want to know about that. If you can snag a picture, a photograph, that'd be nice. If you could do that and send that to us, we'd love to see that. It would help us out with our coverage here today. So if you can possibly send us a photograph here and there. Newark in Ohio. Paul is watching in Newark, Ohio. Thank you so much, Paul, for being with us. And yeah, Nashville is now. It didn't really matter that, look, you weren't included in the actual, drawing of where everything was. You folks in Nashville, you weren't out of anything. You're in it. And you pretty much always were, so not out of anything. Now that this new thing came out, now I'm evidently I screwed something up in the when I wrote this thing up. 1923. Give me one sec to edit something. I don't know why, but I screwed something up. How did I screw that up? All right. Get back in it here. Brett's back into the rain, the heavy rainfall. There back into Mississippi will begin pretty quickly. I think we're going to have more and more in the way of that as we go through the next couple of hours. Some of that's going to be definitely going to be the big deal as we go into the short term. So got to be watching out for all that as we do move along here. And some of that's going to be the big thunderstorms that'll be occurring going into the next several hours. So watching out for all of that as we move along. These are going to be some of the strong thunderstorms that might be producing tornadoes through the day today. And so it's a big deal overall. Greg, thank you for joining us. Bank of Cunningham is with us again today. D. James is with us. Large hail, pineapple size, bigger than gerbils. I mean, that's always been my question, is whether or not they're that big. Greg Sparks is with us. Shana Pettigrew is with us. Carol Bauman, Pineapple Hail. Ruth Gardner is with us here today, too. So thank you so much for watching. And if there's questions, any questions I could answer for you, I would certainly be doing that. I would be happy to do that for you. Been looking at this through the day today, kind of wondering, when everything was going to happen. It still looked like it was going to be happening rather quickly in the early part of the day today. Right now, the live radar as we go to it, looking out of Brookhaven, we still have some spin going on there. Now we got opposite spin going on. It's going to be really hard for them not to call this a tornado warning here pretty soon. It's going to be really hard for them not to call this a tornado warning very, very soon here around Brookhaven. If you live in Brookhaven, I know one of you told me you did a little bit earlier, I'd advise you to get in a safe place now immediately. It looks like it's going to be on the north side of town, and it should continue to go northward. But now I think we're talking about, if not a tornado, there's a funnel associated with this. There's a little bit of width between these two areas right here, but nonetheless, kind of concerning there as to, what's about to happen. I know they just saw that as well there. There's another spin rotation going on down here. So what does this tell me already? Well, the chute for shear, where we've for sure got shear, is going to be in this area here through the day today, because there may be several more storms that would start to pop up that would show up as having sheared links along with them. I know we got one here. Right here's inbound and outbound, although it's a broad area there at the moment. But this stuff up here that's coming into Jackson on the south side is of grave concern here near Brookhaven. Got to be working its way up I-55 here shortly, and coming all the way up through the rest of the area here too. So kind of looking out for that as we go through the next several hours across that region. Some of the big heavier thunderstorms that we're watching for the moment, and especially as you get back over here. Now we're watching what's happening into the area just in and around Columbus and beyond. We don't have any storms here just yet, but they'll be coming in that general direction over the next little while. And let's just, maybe we just talk about this. Maybe we just take a look for just a moment here and see what the HRRR is telling us when this is going to happen. I'll try to talk about when it's coming to your house specifically. This gives us an idea right here. What you're looking at is an idea of timing. And let me make sure that you can see this here. Yeah, some of those are still pretty hefty down there. Mm. Pretty big storms headed all up and down the line. Now, this is for the early part of the day today. Let me show you. We'll move through time. This is right up at about the noon hour. This is from noontime right here. This is what the radar should look like at noon today. So within about an hour and 15 minutes, we should have all the thunderstorms moving across Kentucky at noontime, then down to the south into the western side Tennessee, from Jackson back over to Dyersburg into the Memphis area there, and then kind of what it already looks like, which is an elongated area of thunderstorms going on. But some of these could be rotating. The ones around Jackson here by this point, the ones around Hattiesburg, we'll look out for those because you're in an area there too where the volatility is certainly there. The possibility of having rotating storms is going to be there throughout the remainder of the day today too. So I got to be watching out for all of that there as well. But this is right into the central portions of the state there, down to Louisiana some more. We go up to like, let's go to 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I can show you. This is when they get really, 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 really worrisome as far as the radar is concerned. Now, this is the radar's depiction of what it might look like at 2 p.m. This afternoon, folks. And this is when I, as a meteorologist, I look at this and I get truly concerned about what I see. Let me make sure I point this out. This is 2 p.m. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. and I want you to look. There's at least a dozen cells there. Single cells, supercells. Here, meridian, here. I mean, I could just keep drawing circles of what appear to be supercell, single cell, supercell storms, the ones that produce tornadoes. And they're there at 2 p.m. all across southern sections of Mississippi. Is it by that time we could be so incredibly busy because what's happening here at this point is we got a warm front doing this right here, and then we've got tremendous shear going on all across this area. This is going to be a big bad place coming up. And if you know anybody who lives down here, I know somebody who lives in Hattiesburg that I'm about to give a shout out to, because this is really, really serious. This is when you get super worried about the radar and what it looks like. Now, as we move along, watch how that migrates over into Alabama. You still have that curvature shape to everything at that point. Coming further on to the east, still have a curvature in a lot of those cells. They've kind of congealed a little bit at this point. I don't know if that's a great sign or not yet, but the closer they are together, certainly they share the energy that way a little bit more. The closer they are, they're not as likely to be producing single cell spins, rotations that are occurring. So it is a better sign. If you see this overall, this is a better sign of what could be happening. So that's still pretty active and worrisome as I look at it. I get really, really worried about it, to be quite honest with you. So there again is the big picture. And let me do this. Wow. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't like the way that looks at all. At all. So when is this? This is for, again, the 5 o'clock hour. 5 p.m. is what we're looking at there today, where you still have the likelihood of some rotating storms there, the ones that are possibly producing the tornadoes. Showing up right there across central sections of Alabama. Even in the western side of Alabama, still more of what we're looking at right there, too, is ongoing. Then down to the south here, Demopolis, all the way over to Meridian, single cells. Those are what we're looking at. Those are the ones that could be producing tornadoes. This is just not a good side at all. And if you're looking at the dew point conditions, they're still very reasonable. Look at these dew points. We're sitting right here into the upper 60s in some cases across central and southeast Alabama to near 70 degrees in Hattiesburg. You think it was thick a few minutes ago. This is like if you're sitting there without a shirt on and a chair and you get up, the chair's going with you at this point because the dew points are so high and it's feeling really sticky outside. And that's not going to change into the short term at all. That's going to be a long-term deal that will be going on throughout the rest of this afternoon into this evening, too, as more storms continue to form and the atmosphere remains in play like that. It's just not going to go anywhere anytime soon as far as the thickness goes. So keep that in mind. Keep your eyes peeled. We're going to be on through the day today, through the remainder of the day today. We'll be keeping you up to date on what is happening with each one of these situations as they move along, because it's all quite it's all quite worrisome. Up and down the line. It's 5 p.m. when all that's moving through. Let's go a little bit further to the north here and take care of you folks up in Kentucky and the rest of the area. I know it's probably more volatile down to the south, but it is affecting everybody to the north as well. We're right here at 1 p.m. Look at the top right-hand side of the screen. 1 p.m. coming into Kentucky, coming into Tennessee, western Tennessee, moving through Jackson, Tennessee at about this time. And actually by 2 p.m., your weather in Jackson is over with. This whole situation be over with by 2 o'clock for you. Nothing is back behind this at all. Then into central Tennessee. When's it coming into Nashville? At about 5 o'clock. We got Nashville showing up into Nashville at 5 o'clock. And so that's pretty much Smyrna down to Franklin throughout the rest of this area there as well. Then upwards into Kentucky. We got central Kentucky, I-68. Excuse me, I-64, but US 68 there on the western side. Then you got Charleston over to Huntington into West Virginia. There's some showers and storms expected around the 5 o'clock hour. Some of those could be strong. Some of those could be severe. Some of them could, in fact, be producing some strong winds. And you can't throw out a tornado. Now, the watch area doesn't go up there just yet, but it could. But right here, what we're looking at is coming across the Cumberland Plateau of Tennessee, Lawrenceburg to Pulaski, now into northwestern Alabama to Russellville to Haleyville. We'll have showers and thunderstorms there, too. They'll be lined up from Birmingham southward to Alabaster, Tuscaloosa, 2079. 2059 down to the south, and then you're looking at I-59 going down southward to Laurel, Mississippi, just outside of Meridian, and beyond into the rest of that area there too, or back into northern sections of Louisiana, northern eastern Louisiana, Baton Rouge, over to Opelousas, into the New Iberia, Lake Charles area. Still some thunderstorms there. But by this time, I think most of the juice is going to be here into the eastern side of the state. This is going to be where the big boomers would be. Probably right about in here is where we'd have the most likelihood of seeing tornadoes that are still spinning at this point. What is expected now, or what has been expected, let me see if I can see this, the Cape values do go down as we go through the rest of this evening. Watch, right now the Cape values are pretty high into the yellows that you see. These are surface-based Capes. I know, weather doesn't occur at the surface, but that's where it kind of starts. So we move this along and I can show you. The yellows disappear. We're down into the greens. So as we move through time, 10 o'clock hour, the Cape, the most of the available energy is going away after we cross over the Alabama border. But still, there's enough shear aloft to keep these things going. There's reason enough to believe that they'll just continue to move on and make their way on eastward. Momentum's going to take them on to the east, and the likelihood of continuing with showers and thunderstorms and that kind of thing, and the likelihood of a tornado here and there is still very much going to be the case. But that's going through and into the rest of this evening. So we'll go through this slowly, go back in time, and you can look in the upper right-hand side of the screen. That is noontime. This is according to the HRR model. 1 p.m. coming across Tennessee, coming across North Alabama at 2, into central Kentucky at 3 p.m., Cumberland Plateau right there at 4 o'clock. And as it gets dark, it gets more serious, because then we get really worried about what's going on with the likelihood of tornadoes occurring. Down to Birmingham, over into Montgomery and beyond, and then down to the south as well. We still have more precipitation there that we'd be looking at as well. So a lot to follow here into the short term, the long term, however you want to look at it. There's a ton of stuff that we need to be following, and that we will do so as we go through the next several hours, because that's pretty much what it is all about as we go through the remainder of the day today. We're going to be watching out for all of that. We have a new little, what's that going to be? New little mezzo discussion, it looks like, talking about some of the thunderstorms that are starting to grow in our enhanced region. Let's see, pay. A sec. So once again, there's Brett riding along with Brett. He's sitting there in eastern sections of Mississippi, not too far away from Columbus, Mississippi at the moment. You can see some of the cloud cover down to the south. He's just awaiting the thunderstorms coming into that region. I think he's actually going to follow that a little bit further down to the south as we go through the day today. But nonetheless, that's what we're sort of looking at, following Brett along as he rides through this area here, going through the remainder of the day today into the rest of this evening. Some of these thunderstorms are bound to be quite heavy, coming through central and southern sections of the state of Mississippi, so watching out for all of that. But that is Brett live there in his vehicle. He, along with Heath the Lawler, Dollar Lawler. I still haven't come up with a really good name for him, but his name is Heath, and Heath has been with Brett for quite some time. They are following these storms along as we go through the next little while. Right now, watching from Lexington, Kentucky, we have Rickle Jennerig Weather. Rickle Weather. The weakest link is here. Oh boy, it'll be hitting Birmingham just in time to get off work this afternoon, quite possibly. Weakest link. Ruth Gardner's with us. D. James is with us. You need a lot of cups of coffee, guys. That is so true. Coffee. I had a 5-hour energy about 4 hours ago, so I still got 20 minutes, maybe. I don't think so. Carol Stevens saying a little prayer there. Nothing wrong with that, Carol. Jumpman Flight. What's the forecast looking like for Daphne, Alabama? Daphne, Alabama. Let's go down there. I promised I'd be talking about some of that stuff. Let's just go down there and look real quick. Daphne, Alabama. Daphne's on the east side of Mobile Bay, right up here in the northern part of the bay. You can see what's happening there. A couple of thunderstorms trying to sneak on in there. But as we move along, let's show you. That's, 8 o'clock tonight in Daphne. It's right there just south of the tunnel, Daphne, Alabama is. So the bulk of the stuff doesn't even come in through the overnight tonight. Let me see if I can go back. 15Z. We got everything there. We'll have to go back to 12Z. So if we go to 12Z and look at this again, you know, it's just broken stuff until the actual front comes into Daphne, and that's going to be, what, about 5 a.m. in the morning? And it's super broken at 5 a.m. That's the front, though. So it really looks like there's just a scattered thunderstorm or two until the front comes through. And I this is the front, isn't it? Because the dew points are about you there. Yeah, that's the front. So until the front goes by, there's the front actually right there at about 1 o'clock. But when the front goes by, you'll get the precipitation comes in about an hour behind it. And so that's going to leave us with those thunderstorms coming through about the end. But it doesn't look like much. I mean, it really doesn't look like a whole lot at all. You know what the big deal is for you folks who live throughout the rest of the area? Let me show you something. Total precipitation here. Total amounts of precipitation. We're looking at thunderstorms mostly, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. But total precipitation is going to be huge all across this region, especially up here in Kentucky and West Virginia. Some of these totals are way up there into the 3, 4, and 5 inch mark. 3, 4, and 5 inches quite possible in total as this whole thing buzzes on by through the day tomorrow. It's slow though down to the south. Got a couple of inches possible. I think it's more than this. I think it's going to be more than 2 or 3 in Birmingham down to the south there throughout that area. There's a ton of precipitation here that's going to be quite heavy at times coming through this region. So we'll be watching out for all that as we move along. Some of it's going to be super heavy in some of these areas, and the rest of it's going to be kind of broken over time. But the winds are going to be quite hot too, moving through the region as well. And the reflectivity is the big deal here overall. Who's going to see what? Who's going to see it with what intensity? And that kind of thing as we sort of move along throughout the area here. These are going to be strong to severe thunderstorms going through the next 48 hours. And we just want to make sure that you are paying attention, that you're watching very closely so you and your family can stay safe here the rest of this evening and overnight tonight as well. We've been talking about what was going to happen with some of these thunderstorms. Were they going to grow through in the day today? And you betcha. Right now we're looking at the, this is like a percolator. This is like a, is that a thing? This is like a, percolation. This is like any sunshine at all. And you can see there are a few breaks of sunshine showing up into Brett's stuff. Those breaks of sunshine are the reason for the atmosphere to become more volatile. The atmosphere is going to be easier to rise. It's going to rise quicker, so we're going to have more likelihood of seeing some of those thunderstorms build faster through the day today, especially as we hit just a little bit of heating through the day today. Let's go back to the actual radar, live radar at the moment, and I can show you what I am talking about here. Again, we go down to the south to show you some of the bigger pictures, some of the, let me see if I can Two things I got to do here. Model. And then duplicate that and call it radar. Let's see. Here's the Nashville radar. Again, Brad is up there somewhere. He's over in the Columbus, Mississippi, I think, at the moment. So we've been following him around for a little while. We'll continue to do that, keep our eyes on him because he's very important to us today. And we're going to be talking to him throughout the hour here at the top of each hour. I think we're going to be efforting speaking to him. I say efforting because I keep screwing it up. But we have seen him off and on. You do get to check him out on occasion. What did I do wrong there? Copy the clipboard. I did. So we'll be checking in on Brett here as we move along through the next little while. What else do we have going on here? Right now it's the high-res reflectivity without anything on it. We'll put something on it, though. Let's go to the Jackson radar here. I'm using my clicker, and I can't use my clicker. Jackson radar, here we go. And you can see all the showers and the thunderstorms developing again, moving across I-55 at the moment. Some of these are pretty heavy. Right in this region right here. The rain is lessening in Brookhaven. Thank you, Ruth, for telling me that. It's lessening in Brookhaven. Well, it looks like it's coming back. I think unless you live on the far western side of Brookhaven, it's coming back, and it's coming back pretty hard. We got some pretty big thunderstorms there just off to the south of you, it looks like, coming into West Lincoln, just outside of Center Point and Boca Chica. If you come into Boca Chica on the western side there, specifically, or out of Auburn, Mount Olive, throughout that region there. Tangipahoa down to the south. We'll be looking at some of that as well. Coming into the Gloucester region. Gloucester from there to Liberty along 569. It looks like County Road 569 is what we'd be looking at in US 98. South of Booty. And that's going to be moving on northward and eastward there too. McCall, Mississippi over to Magnolia. Got some showers and thunderstorms there. The velocity data tells us again there's some rotation, but it's big and wide. Right here, big and wide, nothing really close together right there with any of that stuff. You can see it's very wide rotation. There's speed going one way. This has been rotating for a while. I know they've been watching this oh so close. Did a great call there. Making sure that thing wasn't just a quick call. Oh, here to Collins. We got a little bit of spin going on here at the moment near Seminary. Collins right there on US 84 that comes into the western side near Laurel. 84 that goes all the way over into Alabama near Monroeville before you finish it up there. And that's one of the stronger storms at the moment that we've been looking at, been following there as we've gone through the remainder of the day today. And so far, some of these big thunderstorms that we're looking at have been producing some of the heaviest amounts of precipitation, too, that we've been following through the day today, too. Right now, Brett, he is riding about, I think he's in Columbus, might be in Columbus, Mississippi here at the moment, riding down the road, he and Heath Lawler. And we've been following them for a little while. They've been watching the situation for us there for a little while. Now we've got some more precipitation that'll be coming into the region there. Right now they're into the dry air, but they'll be coming into the precipitation here pretty soon. And we're on a little bit early here for the moment because we don't have any warnings at all. We have no warnings. We just want to make sure that you know that we are here with you. And we're going to be here with you throughout the remainder of the event. Once this thing really gets to kicking, we got a bunch of different cameras that we're going to be showing you. We're going to be looking at what's going on all across the state, the southeast. But as I said, we're on just a little bit early here at the moment. Got schools that are dismissing all across the southeastern United States. Been looking at some of those today. I know in Birmingham, Alabama, they're letting kids go probably within the hour here. They're letting kids go in some other cities. And I do understand right now, Hopkins County, Kentucky, they're letting school. They got some flooding going on there. We told you we were going to have some some very heavy amounts of rainfall that would be coming in. Uh, the rain will not help stabilize the atmosphere, not at this point, but it is going to change here pretty quickly. So we'll kind of see what's going on. Thank you, Ruth, for that. Talk like a hick to you. Not really sure what that means, but um, look at this. I love this. Let me see where he is. Because if he's in Columbus, that's just a beautiful. He's in Columbus. That's Columbus, Mississippi, and that's what a southern town square looks like, folks. Where you drive around, probably City Hall's over there on the right somewhere, and you drive around. I think he's sitting there just off Main. This is Main Street, I believe, where he's at, which is just outside of the convention center. There, yes, there's a convention center there in Columbus, and so kind of watching out for that, as we have done through the day today, and we'll do so as we move along. So yeah, we're gonna be watching out for this as I'm gonna leave you up here to ride with Brett for just a moment. I'm gonna go to the little boy's room. Too much information, but give me like 60 seconds, and I'll be back, and we'll talk some more. We'll chat some more. Let's see here. Haven't done it yet. Hold on. All right, I'll be right back. All right. Thank you for giving me a chance to have a drink of water. I left it somewhere. Where did I leave it? Anyway, we're watching Brett. That's Brett Adair. Brett is out and about right now. He's in the Columbus area, I think. Just outside of Columbus. He's headed down 45, I think, at the moment there. We have been watching him and his vehicle as he goes in that general direction. He's got 73 degrees now over 65. So the dew point's still pretty high right there where he is currently. And I can just show you where he is. Right here is where the big B is, right there. That circle. It's hard to see him sometimes. But he's in that little circle right there. And traveling southbound. See that field over there on the right? You're looking at his video up here, by the way. Oh my God, he disappeared. Oh, he popped back up again. Somebody said he was chasing a UFO a few moments ago in the video. I don't know if it was just like, well, I think I see what you're talking about. This little thing up here, he's kind of chasing like the Chinese balloon that's still kind of stuck there. He should have put one of those out, by the way. Maybe I can make one and put it up on the screen there for him and kind of fool him. That's Brett Adair. And we were talking to Brad just a few moments ago. We'll try to effort speaking to him again here very shortly. He's right out there on the eastern side of Mississippi, not too far away from where the precipitation is going to be picking up in earnest as we go along through the afternoon. Nothing really close just yet, but here it comes into the Waynesboro area there, southeastern sections of Waynesboro. Going to be watching out for that. Hattiesburg as well, an area that we're concerned about going into the rest of the afternoon. Hattiesburg is going to be right there in that region where we have the likelihood of having more spin rotation than anywhere else. So it's a considerable threat there that will continue to go through the rest of this afternoon. So we're kind of watching out for that there too. And we'll be doing that. It's been pouring in Berea, Kentucky. A lot of lightning there as well. The sky's looking kind of nasty there in Collins, Mississippi. And if he's talking about David, it won't be good for him, which is I saw it popping. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you being here with us. And we don't have any warnings just yet, so I was trying to save my voice a little bit here as we go through the rest of this afternoon because we will have warnings. We're going to have an abundance of warnings that'll be going on here shortly. Let me just show you what we're talking about, though, with our watches that we currently have. We do have quite a few watches that remain into the area. We'll put them all on the map here to show you. These are the tornado watches that exist across the region now. It's going to be for southern Mississippi and goes all the way to the border of Alabama and then rides up along the western section. We call it the Mid-South of western Tennessee into the western side of Kentucky too. Let me do this so you can see what the crap I'm talking about. We start all over. We do have watches, tornado watches, in effect, right down here down to the south. This is for Hattiesburg, back over. Notice it doesn't hug the coast. Did you notice that? That it didn't, the watch, one of the first times in a long time, the watch is not hugging the coast, and we don't see any development out into the Gulf of Mexico. You know, the past couple of systems that we had go by all seem to have some development from the Gulf that produced water spouts that were coming on shore producing tornadoes. We don't have that this time around. We don't have any extent that goes down into the Gulf of Mexico whatsoever. So the tornado watch area is a little bit further, several counties up out of the Gulf Coast. Goes all the way over to Jackson, Mississippi now, and northward. The watch does. This watch goes until the latter part of the day today. What are they saying here? 5? Does it go until 5? Until noon. Thursday. Well, this only goes until noon, so they're going to have to update that. That portion only goes until noon. So they'll have to move that further and further to the east as we move along. There are going to be different times here. Isn't it kind of weird how there's a gash right there where we don't have a tornado watch there from Tupelo back to the west, really along I-55 and Appomattox or that area right there and specifically. But other thunderstorms are going to exist and start to move into Alabama as we go through the remainder of the day. Today, they'll come in, they're going to be coming in hot too, actually, into the afternoon, where some of those will likely be producing tornadoes as they cross over the border here very shortly. We'll just keep our eyes on that for you to make sure that you know exactly when they're coming. Tornado watches there that are into the region. What does that mean? That means conditions are favorable for tornadoes to occur off and on through the day today. And this is in an area of risk that is quite high right now. This is an enhanced risk for strong to severe thunderstorms and the likelihood of tornadoes anywhere within this region that you see here. This is the enhanced risk that is a little bit of an orange color here, surrounded by a risk of yellow The enhanced risk means that currently positioned over Mississippi, the Mississippi Valley, is going to move on to the east today. A strong low-level jet is going to overspread the Tennessee-Ohio valleys, roughly coinciding with a warm, moist, and overall buoyant air mass into the southeast. Deep layer ascent, rising air. Proximity to the low-level jet will support scattered and potentially widespread strong thunderstorms, some of which are going to be tornadic. Middle Tennessee, Alabama, far western Georgia. Robust thunderstorm development has occurred well ahead of the approaching front in association with a confluence band over Mississippi, giving ample diurnal heating, blah, 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 lapse rate, joules per kilogram squared, Cape, it's going to be tornado-y. Yeah, sorry. There's a lot of stuff in there that just doesn't behoove me to talk about. But there's where your little hole is. The area that we're really gravely concerned about is this region right here. But you can't, a lot of times your first tornado warning will come outside of the box. So this is the enhanced risk area right here. Come on. This is enhanced, meaning that's your most likely place, which now covers all the way over to Montgomery, Alabama, over to Gadsden. It includes Fort Payne, Alabama. The enhanced risk area does. Fort Payne, Alabama is included here as well. So going to be watching out for that as we move along into the next little while here. We got to be doing that as well. Give me 1 minute. So again, there's Brett, and here's where our watch is, the area that we're looking at. We're looking at all of those areas there that we have precipitation on at the moment, and that's going to be coming on through. That's the enhanced risk that we were looking at there just a little bit earlier, and the enhanced risk is going to be with us all the way through the remainder of the day today, it looks like, as we continue this motion of southwesterly to a little bit more of a northeasterly component going into the rest of this afternoon and beyond. So just watching out for all of that as we go into the next few hours here. Mm. Feel that right there. Strong thunderstorm starting to really build. In fact, let's just do that. I'm sorry, I shouldn't even. Let me do this. Let's just do this. No, no, no. So once again, here's a look at the satellite imagery here, sort of spelling out everything for us as to what's really happening into the short term. Some of the bigger thunderstorms that we have currently going on here at the moment are popping up down to the south and moving on northeastward. And we've been watching these through the day today as they were not 75. I want to do about 50. I don't know, 30 of those. We're watching it through the day today as it really started to build, and now we're beginning to see more and more in the way of the thunderstorm tops popping up here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Long wave radiation gives us an idea of how cold these cloud tops are. That let us know that they're really pretty cold there from Hattiesburg back over to Meridian and beyond into the Natchez, Mississippi area there, then down to the south to over to Gulfport and beyond, where we still have some of the thunderstorms there that are occurring as well. Halma to New Iberia, a little stormy there too. And then back over to Lake Charles and beyond into the Beaumont, Port Arthur region, we have some of those thunderstorms there that we're looking at that are also going to be causing some problems as we go through the next several hours too. Greenville northward, you can see there's still some blow up there that is occurring. Some of these radar images here that tell us that we still have more in the way of some of the heavier precipitation that'll be showing up there going into the next little while. And some of these thunderstorms that we're talking about too, some of these could be quite strong and heavy, as we know, because we've also had a few of these that are producing some large hail on occasion. We have seen that be the case too. Trying to build for the future here because we're a little bit ahead of the actual weather. At this moment, we don't have any warnings. I'm on with you now just in case, because I'm trying to build things that we might need through the day today, which is a little bit different than things we needed when we were following the snow. So trying to build a different set of graphics here that we would be looking at as we go through the remainder of the day today. And by the way, it's going to be a long, long day, no matter what you do, no matter what we say or do. There's nothing you can do about that today. It's going to be a really super long day. And I feel for everybody who is out there, all of the crews that are out there through the day today that are going to be watching what's happening, because it's definitely going to be that sort of a situation where nobody's going home early. And so we started a little bit early, but by no means is it, close to being over with just yet. He's traveling down the road, and he's driving the speed limit. Where is he? He's down in Macon. He is right here in Macon. Let's see if I can show it to you. Right there in that little bitty circle, that's Brett. Little bitty Brett. He's in Brooksville, Macon area there across eastern central Mississippi. Trying to get down here with this stuff near Meridian and beyond. So going to be watching out for that. kind of thought that was going to be the case. He's trying to catch it before it gets over here into this portion of Alabama. Let's see what we got here, the geocolor. You can just kind of see everything beginning to blow up here pretty quickly over the last few hours. Some of the heavier thunderstorms here for sure. Mid-level, low-level water vapor. And this will show you the green here is indicative of what is, again, thunderstorms that are beginning to pop up. Yeah, thunderstorms popping up. Hunter, what's up? Hunter just made some coffee. He's scooting. What's up, Lizzie? Good to see you. Bochita, Louisiana looks like a little rotation. I mean, we've been seeing kind of that thing for a while now. The rotation there in Bochita. Hmm. Give me a minute. I'm going to fix something real quick, and when we get down here in just a little bit, we'll come back to our. Give you the radar here for a second. Okay, apologize. Tell you what, we're still a few minutes away. I feel like we're still a few minutes away from seeing a warning. I suppose. Thought we were going to have one quite a bit earlier when stuff started happening there, but they're going to pop here a little bit later. Still 11:48. I mean, it really wasn't supposed to be till about 2 when things began to pop. There's some spin right up here, but it's not close enough. It's not high, tightly packed enough to be anything. Some other stuff down to the south here that we're looking at too that we'll be following as we go through the next little while. So I'm going to put some stuff together, but I got to restart my computer to do that, which means I have to say goodbye for a minute. I appreciate everybody here who's with us, and I hope you'll come back and be with us through the afternoon when we actually have quite a bit to talk about. We're going to be talking about everything that's moving through the area, but we're going to have a series of tornado warnings a little bit later on this afternoon that are going to be, there's going to be a bunch of them. We're going to have a bunch of tornado warnings going into the mid-afternoon, and I really am afraid they're going to be quite large tornadoes later on in the day today. Some of the computer modeling is still suggesting that we would have large long track tornadoes, and so I got on just a little bit early to make sure things were working all right. Obviously they're not, because we did a bunch of new stuff, and I'm back to directing at least for a week or so. I'm sorry, that's the worst news you could possibly get, is that I'm directing. But anyway, because we're going to have Brett on here quite a bit during the day today, and right now we couldn't get his audio last time, so let me check into some of that stuff that we don't have tornado warnings. I don't see one that's imminent in the short term here, but once we get one, we'll probably have more as we go in. So, Lizzie, thank you so much for being with us, but we'll check back in here shortly when I have some more to tell you about, and I appreciate it. Love you all, and hang in there with us through the day today. We got a lot to go through. Talk to you soon.